Good morning and good morning to you. I hope you're all well. Hope your family's all well. I hope you're having a good Christmas break, heading into the new year, guys. Yesterday's match, no, it wasn't the greatest. It wasn't a great spectacle. You look at it from the back to the front or front to the back. We wasn't really effective in any parts of the field, I have to say. The defence... We always knew we was going to struggle a little bit with when you play with a back four like that away to a Brighton team. So you hope there was some sort of countermeasures for it. But in midfield was so absent. Lack of presence, personality, but even on the ball and off the ball, he wasn't great. So real off night in the middle of the park is where I feel mostly, amongst other places, where we lost the fight, lost the match really. And of course up front we didn't sting enough. We didn't. It was you want to always be a threat. You always want to be sting a little bit. The times that we did get through happened to be in offsides or really poor finishing. The positive notes, I got a goalkeeper again, saving us on numerous amount of times, particularly in the first half. Before they eventually broke the deadlock, they already had 2 warnings that Vicario kept out. So it's just an all-round really bad performance. Like I said yesterday in the watch-along, by the way, big up to everybody that tuned in on the watch-along yesterday. Commented, watched the game with myself and Will. And yeah, many of you on there commented and sharing thoughts and likes, and it was just disappointment on all fronts. We had maybe 5 minutes, played well for the first 5-6 minutes of the first half, and maybe the last 10-15, when the game had already gone, 4-0 down. We decided to sort of react out of, I don't know if it was just pride, I don't know, just recover 2 goals, but the damage had already been done. And I had said throughout the watch along, particularly even in the first half, even when we were losing, I said, look, it's a shame because I felt that the Brighton defence looked a bit vulnerable, even when we were, but we hadn't tested them anywhere near enough the way that they had tested us. The penalties, poor penalties to be given away. And the first goal for me was the one that was just so passive, where the guys on the left-hand side coming across the goal, literally not so much as disturbed, if you like, before he plays the ball in, and the lad, strikes it to make it 1-0. And it's just really poor. But having said that, we are still in a position, league standing wise, put the game to one side now. We're still in a league standing position. Look at the points that we have that drives, from the top 4 and then even top of the league. It's not a huge amount. That's not to say that we're challenging for the league. I'm just giving an example that there's not. We're pretty much in the mix of things. So now with 1 game to go against Bournemouth, and that's another thing we have to forget about yesterday, because we're already, a couple of days' time, we're playing again at home against Bournemouth. And really a game, although they're really an informed team, having won 7 out of the last 9. We want to, in front of our own fans, last game of the year, you want to put in a performance and put in a win, if possible, against a good team. And so to finish on with a win would be the absolute maximum. But also from a league standing point of view, it's not, like I said, it's not a huge deal. We're still very much in the mix of things. But now, once that league game is done, you got to understand we're going to lose more players, with Sarr and Son both heading to the AFCON. Sarr's heading to the AFCON, and of course, Son's heading to South Korea. So for their competition. So we're gonna, on top of the league on top of the players that we've lost through injuries, on top of the players that we're going to be losing via AFCON and the Asian competition. So we're going to need a massive injection. And a massive injection, I mean like 2, 3 players. 3 players. I think we need 3 players in this window. But we're going to need some sort of injection to help Ange and the boys to move forward to the second half of the season. And I think we need to get him in quite early. So we need to be moving already. We need to have identified the players that we want to bring in. And at first, literally, as soon as that Bournemouth game is done, it's tying them up. So come January the 1st, they're already making their way to White Hart Lane and at Hotspur Way training ground. So I know what many of you will probably be shouting across. It's not going to happen. You know, we don't operate like that. If we operate, it would be towards the end of the market, or we won't operate at all. You know, Levy, you know this, and you know that. I understand that, and in vast majority of the scenarios, I agree with it. But before I go to town on any of them, I have to allow them. I have to allow the month to play out, to get the first couple of weeks at least to see what's happening. At the end of come February the 1st, we will draw conclusions. We'll probably know the answers even before the 1st of February. But I want to see what happens first. If we don't bring anyone in, which is what a lot of people are predicting, a lot of Spurs fans are predicting, then what expectations can we have for the second half of the season? What expectations can we have from this manager? What expectations can we have from this team as if to where they're going to be ending up before the league campaign ends? We know, you have to have Maddison back and Van der Ven, Romero, see if I have a glimmer of hope. Osson from the Asian. And then you got Bissouma and Sarr from the AFCON. So, you need to have all these players to even have a glimmer of hope. But in that meantime, what happens? We need to start pointing fingers. I want, pointing fingers where it needs to be pointed. Like yesterday's performance, I said it, I don't spare any player bar Vicario. I don't even spare the manager, which is a lot of people were saying, oh, you need to go. Well, yeah, no. The manager needs to, the only part I had an issue with was that we didn't make the changes at half time. And I said so. I felt Lo Celso should have come on at half time. When you're 2-0 down at half time, you make a couple of changes. But then you look at the bench, it's like, how many changes did we actually have? With the exception of Lo Celso, I'm talking about ones that can change the game. Brian Hill, those were the attacking players. Veliz, they all came on eventually, but I felt Lo Celso should have come on bang on half time. I think one change minimum of that lot, he should have been the first one on the pitch. So I don't spare Postecoglou for those sort of things, but in the grand scheme of things, guys, he is doing the maximum with his, and the boys, I have to say, they are doing the absolute maximum to this point. So since we started the league to now, we're coming up to the new year, they have done the absolute maximum, and we are very much in that mix, in the top 4, which is where I want, and I predicted, and I want Spurs to finish. If anything more, would be an absolute bonus. But for this season, I think a top 4 would be an absolutely fantastic achievement for this season. Next season, of course, the targets would be other. If we achieve the top 4, then the targets would be to do better. We shall see, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, guys. How you're feeling today. And of course, we've got a game in 2 days' time. So we've got to get up again, get it going again, and try and finish off the year in a positive way with 3 points at White Hart Lane against a very good Bournemouth side. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know everything that, your thoughts of everything I've just spoken about in this video. Put it in the comments below. And and I'll be seeing you guys for the Bournemouth game. Until then, as always, forever always, come on you Spurs.